Hey everyone, it's me, Andrea from Andy's Corner. And I know it's been a bit, but don't worry, I am back today with another episode. And today we are following up where we left off. And where we left off was Jacob escaped Laban. Laban pursued him, and then everything calmed down and they made a treaty. So, the last that we found out, we knew that Jacob continued on his way. And then it says, the God came to meet him, and Jacob saw him, and he exclaimed, "This is God's camp." So now we're in chapter 32, and this is where he meets his brother again after a very long time. And he might be a little terrified because last time he left, Esau wanted to kill him. So let's dig in. Then Jacob sent messengers ahead to his brother Esau, who was living in the region of Seir in the land of Edom. Little note, in the future, the descendants of Esau are referred to Edomites because they live in the land of Edom, and they're all throughout the whole Bible. It's really kind of cool. So you'll see, though, that the Israelites and the Edomites end up having a long history. Let's continue. He told them, "Give this message to my master Esau. Humble greetings from your servant Jacob. Until now I have been living with my uncle Laban, and now I own cattle, donkeys, flocks of sheep and goats, and many servants, both men and women. I have sent these messengers to inform my lord of my coming, hoping that you will be friendly to me." So there's a few things about this greeting that clearly shows that Jacob is humbling himself before his brother. One, he says, "Humble greetings." Two, he says, "Hoping that you will be friendly to me." He's kind of saying, hey, look, I've established, I have all these things. I hope that we can be friends. After delivering the message, the messengers returned to Jacob and reported, "We met your brother Esau, and he is already on his way to meet you with an army of 400 men. Now, this is kind of funny, because you would think if he was so happy to see his brother Jacob, why would he bring an army of 400 men? Wouldn't he just come with his family and say, "Hey, brother, how's it going?" So then Jacob gets extra scared. So now he tries to be a little strategic. Jacob was terrified at the news. He divided his household, along with the flocks and herds and camels, into two groups. He thought, if Esau meets one group and attacks it, perhaps the other group can escape. Then Jacob prayed, "O God of my grandfather Abraham, and God of my father Isaac, O Lord, you told me, return to your own land and to your relatives, and you promised me, I will treat you kindly. I am not worthy of all the unfailing love and faithfulness you have shown to me, your servant. When I left home and crossed the Jordan, I owned nothing except a walking stick, and now my household fills two large camps. O Lord, please rescue me from the hand of my brother Esau. I am afraid that he is coming to attack me, along with my wives and children. But you promised me, I will surely treat you kindly, and I will multiply your descendants until they become as numerous as the sands along the seashore, too many to count." I really like that. I like that Jacob immediately cries out to God, and it says, "You have been faithful, and you have shown me unfailing love and kindness to give me all these things when I had nothing." And I love how he repeats God's own words to God to say, "Hey, God, this is what you said. Please show me that this is going to happen." And you'll see throughout the whole Bible, a lot of people do that. A lot of followers do that. Moses does that. He repeats it. Remember, these are your children that you said will impact the world, right? And so I think that's important. If you feel God has told you something, and you feel a sense of a season where maybe it doesn't seem like that's happening, pray exactly what God prayed for you or what God shared with you. Pray that back to God and say, "God, this is what I feel like you told me. Am I wrong? Is this right? Are you going to show me this? Blah, blah, blah." Because when it's his words, then we know that he is faithful to complete it, right? So then Jacob stayed where he was for the night. Then he selected these gifts from his possessions to present to his brother Esau: 200 female camels with their young babies, 40 cows. Oh, I skipped. Whoa. 200 female goats, 20 male goats, 200 ewes, which are female sheep, 20 rams, 30 female camels with their young, 40 cows, 10 bulls, 20 female donkeys, and 10 male donkeys. He divided these animals into herds and assigned each to different servants. Now, imagine if you got all those animals just showing up at your front door as a gift. Wow, I would be like, this is amazing, but I don't have the space. And he told his servants, go ahead of me with these animals, but keep some distance between the herds. And he gave them these instructions to the men leading the first group. When my brother Esau meets you, he will ask, whose servant are you? Where are you going? Who owns these animals? You must reply, they belong to your servant Jacob, but they are a gift for his master Esau. Look, he is coming right behind us. Jacob gave the same instructions to the second and the third herdsmen and to all that followed behind the herds. You must say the same thing to Esau when you meet him, and be sure to say, look, your servant Jacob is right behind us. Jacob thought, I will try to appease him by sending gifts ahead of me. When I see him in person, perhaps he will be friendly with me. So the gifts were sent ahead while Jacob himself spent the night in the camp. Now, this is very wise, actually. And actually, in Proverbs, it says this exact thing. It says something like, the gifts will appease a king's heart or something. That's totally out of context. I just know it talks about gifts somewhere. In our next episode, I'll have the correct scripture for you. But he's smart. And not only did he send one huge gift, no, he broke all those animals up into 3 different herds. So there was one herd, and Esau's like, oh, wow, look at this gift. And who are you? This is a gift from my servant Jacob to you. Oh, great. And a second gift. Who are you? I am my servant from Jacob, and this is a gift from Jacob. Oh, wow. 3 times. So by this time, Jacob is smart. Esau is probably buttered up and excited that he's just got all these free animals. Jacob's a smart guy. And then he stays in the camp. And that's where this episode is going to pause, because next episode, we let you know what happens in the camp. He actually meets God and he wrestles with him. So it's pretty cool. You don't want to miss it. But what did you learn about God in this chapter or this episode? I learned 2 things. I loved how Jacob was smart enough to repeat God's promises to God. It's not like God forgot, but it's actually a helpful reminder to us about what God told us initially. And even there's promises in the Bible that can pertain to us today. Now, not all promises for all people in the Bible pertain to us today. No. But there are some that do pertain to us today. And when we repeat those prayers and those promises back to God, it makes you feel stronger. It makes you feel more confidence and faith in God. And it also does remind God, hey, God, don't worry, I'm down here. Hey, did you forget? Of course he didn't forget. Of course he sees everything. And of course he knows exactly what's going to happen. But it's such a good reminder for us to repeat what God has told us. Secondly, I like Jacob's wisdom of how he went before and he humbled himself before Esau and said, Esau, please accept these gifts. 1, 2, 3, gift after gift after gift. Because he realized, hey, maybe I didn't do the best thing back in the day when I stole my brother's blessing. Scandalous. But I think this also shows God's character and that he desires for reconciliation. He desires for families to come together and to not be mad at each other and to not be talking to people. So maybe today, if you did something bad to your sibling or to your parents, you can humble yourself and give them a gift. Maybe it's a drawing. Maybe you bake them cookies and say, please accept this gift of apology. and humble yourself. I think it's such a good lesson for us to remember that we are not always right, even when it may seem like we are. And the best way to approach or to apologize to someone that we love, that we want a relationship with is to humble ourselves and apologize. And I think if God can bless Jacob in doing that, then I'm sure he can bless you. So stay tuned for our next episode when we find out what happens when God actually encounters Jacob. All right? Bye. See you later.